Okay. All right, I've clicked on and it says I'm going. I'm going to check. Yep, it's working now. I'm just going to turn off my own sound so I'm not hearing myself. All right, I've clicked on and it says I'm going. Delay. There we go. I'm going to put something in the chat, get things started, and I'll see if people rock up. And my hubby is in the lounge room checking if this is ready. So I'm just going to see if he got that message. I just asked him if it's working. I'm not sure if anyone's in here at the moment. If you're in here, say hi, let me know here. I can see Sarah, Georgia, Kylie. Hi, guys. How you going this evening? Must be working then. Hubby can see it too. That's great. Thanks for stopping by tonight, guys. No tiara. Oh, I didn't even think of the tiara. Oh, I'll have to make sure I do that for next time. All right, my hubby says it's working in a very rude way. I'm not going to repeat it. Oh, dear. I hope you've all had a good week this week. Our report's all done. My hubby keeps... This is my husband. Wait, can you see? So rude. Yeah, I put you on air, hubby. Oh, my gosh. Has everyone finished reports? I haven't seen anything else come up in chat, so I hope there's not a glitch there. I'll type it and see if that gets everyone going. Hopefully you can hear me though. I can see it says we've got 4 people in here tonight. Not many. That's okay. We can have a quick chat tonight. Let me flick back to my other screen. George is done with reports, done and dusted. And Kylie is all done. That's awesome too. Glad to hear it. I think I finished editing all of my teams and I want to do one last reread before I say that they're okay for printing. Kylie's been packing up a classroom. I've started, and then this week I also started videoing how I store things in the classroom and my tips for decluttering. So I'm actually going to share that video hopefully tomorrow morning. That one will be ready to go. So I just need to do some final edits on that, and then I'll be able to share that one tomorrow if anyone wants to see how I store things in my classroom. But yeah, I've been getting rid of stuff as I go. Sarah finished reports last week. Have been packing without making it obvious to the kids. Yeah, that's a tricky one to do. For those who want to poke fun at him, the primal one is my husband who likes turtles. Inside joke. If you get the meme, you're a legend. So Sarah, I'm assuming that you know you're moving classrooms, but the kids aren't allowed to know yet. Are you going to have a moving day? Are you changing schools? Give me details, Sarah. I want to hear what you're doing. Just flicking back to see if we've got any other new people on at the moment. Oh, we're up to 7 viewers. Hi, guys. If you're here, type in the chat, say hi. I remember I can't see you. You can only see me without a tiara, unfortunately. Where's Nick tonight? I need Nick to come on and tell me what other kind of accessories I need. I'm doing the same though, Sarah. I've been trying to tidy up without making it obvious. I do know what I'm doing next year, but I can't say yet. We were hoping to announce what everyone was doing with classes yesterday, which was Friday, and unfortunately that got postponed because we had some last minute changes to staffing allocations, which now means as exec we need to rejig some things. And and get that all sorted. And unfortunately, that means not announcing what we're doing, which also means not announcing what I'm doing. Oh, Kylie, you won't be back next year. Are you changing schools? Is this a happy move? I hope it's hard. Georgia's still waiting to find out, so I'm living through everyone else announcing their positions on social media. Oh, no. Oh, that sucks. Oh. And Kylie has to wait for a note to go home. You guys send a note home telling parents what staff are doing the next year? Can I clarify that? Is that what you do? And Sarah you haven't told them that you're moving rooms because you don't want to open that can of worms. Can't imagine not being able to tell them you won't be back. Oh, that sucks. New school. Very happy, but we'll miss your kids. Yeah, that's the way to go, isn't it? And like, that's what happens. There are some teachers who stay in one school for a very long time, but it's exciting to change schools and be in a different place and see what's going on. But it is hard to leave those kids. You know, you develop relationships with them and you get connected to them. Your parents get told who is teaching what and what class their kid is on Tuesday. So we'll seriously let's start pulling things down then. Wow, that would be interesting. I've never been in a school that's actually done that ahead of time, where you tell them ahead of time, because so many changes can happen. I was on a class one year and I was on a year 3 class that was meant to be an extension class, and our numbers changed so dramatically. Everything had to get rejigged, and I ended up with a year 2, 3 composite that year, or vice versa, so long ago now. Either way, the whole class had to change. I lost kids, I gained kids, and this was at the end of week 3. So this is after 3 weeks already of doing all of our settling in and getting to know you and warm-ups and icebreakers and everything, and then everything changed. So that's one of the reasons why we don't tell parents in the schools that I've been in anyway. I think it would be interesting too to spend the whole holidays knowing who you're going to have. One of two things, either being completely excited the entire holidays or being worried about the teacher that you're going to have the entire holidays. So that would be interesting. I'm sure, obviously, if it works for you guys, then there mustn't be any negativity to it. So that will be interesting. But at least you get to start pulling things down on Tuesday, which is good, because my next video, if you're going to use any of my tips, might come in handy. So I'm just getting back to, so Sarah will be changing, sorry, Kylie's changing schools. And Sarah, are you changing schools as well? You won't be back? Can't imagine being able to tell them that you won't be back. So I'm just going back up to the chat to make sure who's moving and who's not. Not allowed to tell your kids you won't be back next year. That's Kylie. Oh, a note to say what staff are leaving. Ah, okay. Sorry, I'm just going back in the chat there to see what's going on there. Oh, okay. I wonder, do you have many staff that are leaving? Is that a temporary teacher situation there, or just lots of people getting new jobs? Kylie, remind me, are you public or are you private? Or are you international? Are you overseas? I'm trying to remember who was who last week when they came on. Oh, we've got 8 viewers on here at the moment. If you've jumped on, say hi, guys. Let us know who's here. If you're on Twitter, drop your handle down. People might be happy to collaborate and share things. That's my mum messaging me. It's raining here tonight in Sydney, and we were meant to go to the Christmas carols locally. And my mum has just messaged me saying, did you know the carols were cancelled? Well, the carols would have started 2 hours and 45 minutes ago, Mum. So, yeah, I know. So I'm just going to let her know. Yes, we heard. Thanks, Mum. Mum's always checking in on you. Private, you're in a permanent position. 2 of us. Oh, so there's 2 teachers leaving and you're in a private school in a permanent position. So does that mean you're going to another private school then, Kylie? Are you in New South Wales, Kylie? My mum doesn't realise I'm live on air at the moment. She's still messaging me. I need to turn that off. Oh, dear. Decided to move to a new school. It's a temp but I feel it will be a big step forward. You know what? It always is, because regardless of what the experience is, whether it's a positive experience or a negative experience, it's a learning experience, and you'll grow from that. Western Sydney, that's my way. I'm curious to know where you're going, but you may not be able to say on there if you're not meant to be announcing at school. So that's okay. You don't need to tell. That's fine. Feel free to private message me. My mentor told me, and this was after I changed schools, that it takes 18 months to settle in a new school. Anywhere you go, in any position you go. He's a principal at the moment, and he says even as a principal, when you go to a new school, it takes 18 months. You need that entire year of getting to know everyone, getting to learn everything, learning the ropes, learning the layout of the school, all that stuff, and then another 6 months of consolidating it, being able to start that process again before you actually get to know a school really, really well and feel comfortable in it. George has just asked, when do your staffing positions get announced to parents? Community back, ours is first day back next year. We often have changes in the holidays. So we let staff know privately if they've got work for the following year. So we do expressions of interest for temporary contracts. So those people get notified privately, either face-to-face or via email from the principal. Usually if it's face-to-face, it will be followed up with an email from the principal, so it's in writing, with the notification that this is all based on staffing, and that staffing could change. If a transfer suddenly comes in and another permanent comes in and a temp has to come in or whatever, people are well aware that things could change at the last minute. At the moment, we've been delayed announcing to staff what classes they will be on, but we don't tell parents what teachers are on what classes until they come back first day next year, because the rule of thumb is always, the broken leg. You've broken your leg, you've been in a car accident, you've broken your leg, you're going to be off work for 6 weeks. What do? Change is going to happen. So, you need to allow for that happening, 2 days before school goes back, and then a change needs to happen. So I have no idea how you PM on YouTube. Someone's done it before, but if you want to message me on Twitter, I am BeckWest81 on Twitter. In any of my other videos, Kylie, I've always got the links below too, or you can message me on the Talk and Chalk, what's it called, Facebook page as well. You can private message through there. I'd love to chat to you. Yeah, any of my previous videos, just check the links below. The Twitter one's usually pretty good. Lots of people usually message me through the Facebook page. There's a message section on there, and a message notification will come straight to me. I don't always answer straight away. I'm a mum of 3 and an exec, so I message back when I can. I should totally get an Instagram. Huge teacher community on Instagram. See, now a lot of people have said that to me. I'm tempted to do that, but I've got the Facebook, I've got the Twitter, and my Instagram at the moment. I do have a personal Instagram, and I'm pulling it up on my phone because it's not I don't really use it, I guess, the way people normally use Instagram. I use it as a project. I feel really guilty that my oldest 2 children have like the baby books and the photo books and everything. And my third one, my bub, Xavier, who's 21 months now, I think, I just didn't have time for it. So if you've ever seen the pictures of, I don't even know what they're called, but it's the girlfriend. I'm going to type into Google, sorry, girlfriend walks boyfriend behind, or whatever it is, boyfriend behind me, boyfriend around world. I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to go to images, because surely you'd recognize these. These are hang on, I'm just going to go to my other window so I can see. You ever seen these ones? See, she's pulling him by the hand and walking him, and they've got lovely backgrounds and everything. Lovely way to show how to travel around the world. I'm too busy. So what I did was I did my own version with my baby, Xavier, and it's me pushing him around in the trolley. You see my hand on the pram or the trolley. So like, for example, when you go to the shops, that's my hand pushing him around the shops. And that's at the shop, what do you call it, Woolworths. Or there he is there. That's me pushing him around in the pram. or I'm just going to find some other ones that look really, really cute. This is me holding a donut ice cream cone. Oh, can you see it? And then, I tried to get creative with it. So that's us at the park pushing the pram. But as he got older, we had to change prams. So instead now it's like me giving him a high five. So you can still see my hand. And where's another good example? In the trolley with my hand and him facing me. That's my hubby and my other two older children in the background there. So that's my Instagram. Oh dear. So Kylie said you deleted your Insta and stopped using Twitter. It just felt like too much. And Sarah Ann is Instagram teaching community. You're with Teach With Me. One word, Teach With Me. So if you're on Instagram, check that one out. I might have to have a look at that one later. Yeah, it does get a bit much when there's all of them on there. So like I said, that one's just a little, I guess, a project. I have my own personal Facebook account, which was my immediate friends and family. And you might see me posting to teaching groups on there using my personal account. But I do have the Talk and Chalk Facebook, which is just this. It's just sharing these things and maybe sometimes some other random memes or videos that I think are good. And then my Twitter is my professional account. So when you go to my Twitter, if none of you have seen it, like I said, it's BeckWest81. And someone named Nathan has just followed me. That's a teacher. So if you're on here, Nathan, hi. Your classroom looks interesting if Nathan's watching. I'll just go to it so you know what it looks like, you know which one I am. Like I literally say on there, so I'm just changing screens again so I can see myself. I say assistant principal with the Department of Education. If you're using Twitter as a professional account, make sure you always say that it's your own views, just to protect yourself. Sarah said, should I be able to see a video yet? I think everyone else can see the video, Sarah, so I'm not sure why you're not seeing anything. Hopefully I haven't dropped out. I've got rain around me at the moment, which sounds beautiful, and there's a beautiful breeze coming in. So anyway, for the purposes of the chat tonight, I wrote down some notes in my trusty diary again, as usual. I'm just going to close my door there. So tonight we're going to talk about just changing classes for next year. So we can see a couple of people are changing schools. That's exciting. I'm assuming you probably won't know yet what class you'll be on, but, changing schools is a whole big new thing, as well as just being able to change classes and just even changing classrooms. Even if you're on the same grade, sometimes just changing classrooms is a big change. So I've done my notes to write down. So if anyone's watching this back, these are just some of my tips for when you're changing classrooms. So if anyone's got any questions or comments or their own tips or whatever, chuck them in the chat. I'll read them out for people if anyone's watching this back later. And I'll happily answer any questions as we go along. I can't see any popping up at the moment, though, and I'm hoping there's not a glitch in the feed. I'm just looking back here. It still says we've got a few viewers at the moment, so hopefully we're still going. Okay, so changing those classes. So for you guys that are changing schools as well, first of all, breathe. It can always be a good thing, even if it feels like a bad thing. It can always be a good thing if we want it to be. We're trained in this. We're trained in those areas. If you're not trained in those areas, hopefully you'll be getting the support to do that. And we absolutely have the capacity to succeed in these new areas. The first thing that I always do when I'm going on to a new stage or a new class and I'm feeling a little apprehensive is I just go to the syllabus. I go to the curriculum. That's our initial document. We sometimes forget that we're literally employed to implement those policies, procedures, and documents that are the overarching body that we're employed by. So whether you're using the national curriculum or a state curriculum, or if you're overseas and you've got different syllabus and curriculum documents to us, keep in mind I'm in New South Wales, Australia, and I'm in a public school, so I'm using the Board of Studies documentation, the new syllabus documents, I go through and I read it. And I look at that stage and I literally read it like it's, you know, one of my books. It sounds like a lot. I do it online though. I don't literally go and get the document and read it. I go online, I go to the stage that I'm teaching and I read through the syllabus and I go English first, then mathematics, and then I go through the others. And that's not to say that, you know, necessarily English or maths is important first, but, you know, those are our main focus areas. If you look at the NESA website, our expectation is 50% of our time needs to be devoted to English and mathematics. So that's where I'm going to put my time first and then look at those other things. And then if you're in a school where you have the access to that documentation, look at your scope and sequences next. And that's just going to give you a nice snapshot overview of the year to come. So, you know, hopefully that'll alleviate any kind of apprehensions or questions you might have about what your kids should be doing, where they should be at, and what you're working towards. So use that documentation first and get into it that way. Like I say, guys, if you've got a question or anything, chuck it in. I'll happily answer as we go along. Next thing I would do is just look at work samples. I've linked in videos before about different work samples you can see in the reports video, and if I think about it, I'll drop it in the description below. The different reports that you would have, the different work samples that you would find should show what a low, what a high is, and what you could expect to see within that range. Ultimately, you want work samples from the students that you've had. So if your school can work out some kind of system where they keep behind some of those samples to pass over to the next teacher, that's really the best thing that you can do in terms of preparing yourself for understanding where your kids are at and where they're going to go. We need to remember that over that, you know, 5 to 6 weeks of school holiday time, they regress a little bit and we want to get them back up to that level. That's our first goal, is term one, get them back to where they were, and make sure they haven't really gone back any further. And we really need to see that with our EALD kids, because if they go home and they're speaking nothing but their home language for those 5 to 6 weeks, they're going to lose some of that fluency that they get in their reading and their writing. Okay. Next thing I would look at is, well, just over the holidays, don't over-prepare. You don't need to be sitting there making a ton of wall displays and laminating and making name tags and word charts and everything, because you're going to over-prepare yourself. You might go back and find out all of a sudden you need to go onto a completely different stage. You'll be with a completely different class if things have changed over the holidays, or if things change on the staff development day before we even get our kids. Get yourself some resources together. Absolutely. Things that you think could apply, you know, across most classrooms. Sure, print, laminate if you need to. But keep in mind that any displays we have in the classroom, kids should be part of that process. Our students should have ownership over the things that are in their room that they're using. If I've done nothing but I've gone onto Twinkle or TeachStarter or something, and I've just got a ton of resources that I've printed and laminated, and I've covered every wall in the classroom to make it beautiful, they've got no ownership over that. That's just my work then. They're just going to be staring at my work all year long, and it should be changing constantly. So there's no point going in and doing that when your kids should be part of that process. If you're going to make a word wall, create a word wall with your class. You know, print off your letters that go with it. Absolutely. Print off your sounds, print off your borders, you know, signs, things like that. But your room should not be, you know, absolutely covered wall to wall with all of that stuff. Kylie's just jumped in and asked, any professional reading you recommend for holiday reading? Absolutely. Reading up on Hattie's visible learning, and reading up on his updated data on effect sizes. He's updated it for 2016 to 17, I believe it was. It came out, I think it was about a month ago. Definitely good reading. There is also another new document that Federation is sharing around that's about valid data. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I think it's called the Green Report. And hopefully I won't lose you guys when I go into another window to type it in. Green Report, New South Wales Teachers Federation. I'm just seeing if it'll come up. Crossroads, a green paper on assessment policy. Oh, yep, I found it. Actually, I found it. I'm going to link it into the chat for you guys. And if I think about it later, I will edit it into the description. All right, there's that one. Hattie's one is a book, though, so you'll need to find that one. I'll see if I can find Hattie's effect sizes. Hattie updated effect sizes. I'm going to put 2017 on there and see what comes up. Oh, here we go. Hattie's. Oh, I found the link for that too. I'll put that in the chat for you guys too, and you can bookmark that or something for later. That's a good read. I'm just copying it over for you guys now. Paste. All right, hopefully they work for you guys. If I think about it later, I'll put it into the description below. Those are really good ones. Actually, another one that you might want to read, I've got behind me, this one here. Oops. Teachers and Their Times. So I bought this at Federation a couple of years back now. I'm trying to remember the publication date on there. I'm just looking at it now, 2011. It's still fairly recent, but I mean, this is like the history of Federation and what they did, and unionism, and like some of the contents. So the chapters are like living in the 70s, left, right, left. One's about clients, consumers, capital, towards the millennium bug, setting the agenda, Teachers Federation and Unionism, Aboriginal education. The last chapter is called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. It's an interesting read. That one was pretty good. I cannot for the life of me remember how much I paid for it though, but I don't feel it was a waste of money. I mean, I think it's good enough to stick up here with my other set of books. But you can see it's not all educational books. You should be enjoying your holidays. Rest and relaxation is important. Reset the mind, body, soul, all those things. Kylie says she plans to chill a bit. I like doing some professional reading, makes me feel fresh, and I log it as teacher identified hours on Nessa. You are a clever pickle. Good choice of things to do in the holidays there. Well, you can see, obviously, I like videos and things, so I watch so many TED Talks. I love TED Talks. And there's a whole section on education when it comes to TED Talks. And sometimes I go back and watch ones that, you know, I've watched again. I love watching stuff from Simon Sinek, Ken Robinson, you know, those sorts of motivational speeches that tie into leadership and education I find really useful. I'm probably going to have to start logging things now as teacher hours on Nessa, because I'm one of the pre-2004 group that are going to be doing maintenance now, so I'll have to get into the habit of doing that soon. Other reading that you might want to do, this is one of my points, is just based on any needs that you might have in your new class. So if you've already been red flagged, so to speak, on students that you know you're going to have that have some kind of additional need, high need, welfare background, all that sort of a thing, that would be the time to look up on it. So, you know, if you've got a student with autism and you've never worked with autism before, go straight to the Autism Association or to Aspect, or Rita Pearson's talk about Every Child Deserves a Champion. Absolutely. If people haven't seen it, go and watch it. And all you've got to do is type in Rita Pearson into YouTube and it'll be the top thing that comes up. And she's absolutely right. Every kid does need a champion. They always need teachers like us on the side that are spending our holidays doing professional reading and logging hours to make sure that we can be the best that we can be for them as well. And she's a good speaker too. She's good to watch. She's got lots of charisma and energy, which is really good. And she's very relatable too. She speaks kind of on the same level as us, yet above us at the same time. It's a good balance. Something else you might want to do as the year throughout the holidays or to prepare for the next year, is just looking at the calendar. This is something I find every single year, and I try and get on top of it as best as I can at the beginning of the year, is the calendar events. And I'll give you an example. Year 6 is always the big one, because we know year 6, they have camps, they have fundraisers, they have other excursions, they have special visitors, they've got SRC nominations, captains, prefects, they've got graduation, year 6 dinner, you know, so many things that happen. And just to be able to get on top of that at the beginning of the year and have a timeline for the entire year saying this is when this will happen, but also having on there, this is when this will be prepared for. So, you know, 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 6 weeks before the event, you've got everything locked in and organized and ready to go. So if you can make yourself a calendar or a timeline of the things that are coming throughout the year to prepare for, you know, if you've got lower grades and you don't have that year 6 stuff, you probably think of things like, you know, book week and education week and NAIDOC day and those sorts of things. Have it on the calendar, have a timeline, have a flow chart ready to go, so that you're not chasing your tail when it comes to those things. And that way too, when you're better prepared for that, you can incorporate it into your classroom so much better. So if you've got NAIDOC Day coming, you're not just doing those tokenistic activities 2 days before the event. You know, you can embed it in what you're doing leading up to it and just really run some quality sessions based on those activities. That's a good way of, you know, preparing for it as well. So any time I've changed classes, I guess I've always been excited. I've never been on a class that I haven't been keen on. And my favorites are the alternate ends. I love K and I love 6. Those have always been my favorites. I've always enjoyed the years in between as well. They've always got wonderful benefits and they've always been lots of fun. But you know, my favorite classes have been either on kindy or on year 6. And that could just be my personality, could be the events that go with it, could just be those particular cohorts I had those years. But, you know, if someone said to me when I was on year 6 that I was going to be on year 4 the next year, it was never a dramatic, you know, pain for me. Schools that I've been at have habitually run a system where teachers stay on a particular class or stage at least for 2 years. So you have 1 year of being on that grade, learning, developing everything, and then the next year is consolidating. So I knew at the end of those 2 years I would go somewhere else. It wasn't unexpected. And then I knew that, you know, if I was going to year 4 that year, I would be on year 4 most likely for 2 years, and then I would go somewhere else. So I've never been in a position where I was, you know, upset or unprepared to be going on to a different class. I know sometimes people have been thrown a loop where, you know, they've been on year 6 for, you know, 5 years or 6 years or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're down to kindy. And just the shock value of that could be, you know, just a bit too overwhelming. But, you know, once you start reading all of that documentation and immersing yourself in those work samples and remembering what it's like, then it's not too bad. Sometimes ultimately it's just good to do a Google images. You know, if you've been on year 6 for 10 years, Google kindy classroom, kindy flexible learning space, or something like that, and just look at what other teachers are doing. Ultimately, we learn best from each other. Georgia is looking forward to finding out what I have. It's all up here at the moment. Hopefully Monday I might be able to say what I've got, but at the moment I can't. I was excited to be able to, well, you know, say what I've got, but also ultimately to be able to tell my team what they're doing next year as well, and can't do it just yet, unfortunately. The exec life, where I know, but I can't say. Oh dear. Well, those are all the notes that I had for tonight. So unless anyone's got any other questions for tonight, I think we might wrap it up there. I love being able to talk to you guys live though, even if it is a Saturday night. We probably should be doing something a bit better. But hey, we've got 2 weeks left now in our system, but who's counting? It's only 10 working days, you know. 10 lovely days left with our students until next year. So if no one's got any other questions tonight, I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm going to say check me out on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, if you want to hit me up for a personal message. Definitely check out those links that I put up above from Teachers Federation and from John Hattie. Give them a look, even if it's not now. Just bookmark it on your page and have a read throughout the holidays. Like I said, tomorrow morning I should be uploading my video on storage solutions and decluttering. I look forward to any feedback on that or your tips. If you've got them, add them into the video. And I will still be making videos throughout the holidays as well. So I'm not going anywhere, guys. So hit me up with any suggestions if you've got any, and I'll make some videos on that in the holidays as well. So thanks for joining in with me tonight, guys. I appreciate it. Glad to hear any feedback, and look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. But other than that, I'm going to say bye-bye. And I'm going to put it in the chat as well for anyone that's just following along. Oh, it looks funny when I type in here this way. Bye-bye, guys. Thanks. And I wonder if a love heart will work in there. It does. Yay. Excellent. Thanks, Kylie. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Good luck with you guys, taking everything down in your room and getting ready to say goodbye to your classes. Bit sad. All right, guys, I'm signing off now. Thanks. Bye.